It might seem like Xbox One and PS4 just came out, but it's already time to start talking about next-gen hardware. And today we're going to be talking about Microsoft and Xbox Scarlet on the pause menu. I'm Corey. This is Chris. If you haven't heard, supposedly Microsoft's next-generation console will be hitting in 2020, but it will be alongside a possible second console, codenamed Scarlet Cloud. So the big story here is basically that Microsoft will be offering two devices, one a more traditional console it's going to have all the hardware in it, and it's a powerful box, and it makes a lot of heat. And the other one will be a streaming-only box. The benefit of the streaming-only box will be that it will be significantly cheaper than the more traditional hardware, but obviously you will be streaming only. So a lot to unpack here, but first things first, the idea of a streaming-only console. What do you think?
I mean, I don't like the idea of this. Maybe because we're getting too away from the traditional, and that's what I like. I like having my physical console that I know has power that can run my games to the fullest. Where I feel like with a streaming console, we're I don't want to say downgrading, but I feel like it kind of is.
No, I mean, definitely the quality won't be there, but you're right. Like, I think it's very interesting that Microsoft is not only like. It'd be one thing to bring out the next Xbox or Scarlet, whatever you want to call it, and say like, oh, it can also stream games. But for them to go full on and just say, no, you can buy a box that is only for streaming games. To me, that's crazy. Like, yeah, that's the part that I just think is nuts.
I feel like it's the opposite of like what they've been shooting for, or like lately at least. Like, we want the most powerful console that you'll have in your home right now. But again, I mean, it sounds like they will give us that.
Right.
And I guess this streaming thing is just another option. But the only other thing I could think is it's going to be cheaper?
It's supposed to be significantly cheaper.
It would have to be.
A couple places have thrown around $199, which is pretty cheap, but we also don't know what Xbox 4 Scarlet, the regular version, is going to cost. But Phil Spencer did say at E3 that they are like... Xbox One X is kind of the base and the basic design that they're going to focus on in the future, and that power. Like, Xbox is always about power. If you buy an Xbox, you'll have the most powerful console on the market. So I think it's fair to say it won't be cheap. But it also, like you said, instead of doing this whole maybe like PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, you just have the streaming console as your cheaper option. So like, it makes sense when you also factor in stuff like Game Pass.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that would mean like, does that mean like Game Pass in the future is going to be streaming as well? So like, if you pay for Game Pass, you can either download the game or stream the game. Because I think to ask somebody to pay full price for, Halo Infinite whenever it comes out, to only stream it, that seems a little weird to me, but I don't know.
I mean, I'm trying to think the benefits of having this stream-only thing. I feel like it'd be more portable, which would be great.
Yeah, probably a lot smaller.
Hitting in the size of the box and whatnot. So let's say, suppose you have both, but you can take you want to take your box, you can take your streaming device someplace and hook it up with someplace that has internet and you're good to go, But I don't know. It's just weird to imagine that this is a thing. But, like, again, if it doesn't halt production for me for Scarlet, like console version Scarlet, like, right. It's not completely bad.
No, and I guess that's the big, question is like, are they going to announce or release these next to each other? Like, whenever Xbox Scarlet comes out, are they going to have both options available day one, or is it going to be maybe something down the line? But I don't think there's any way that they launch Scarlet Cloud first. There's no way that they're going to debut the next Xbox with only a streaming box. I think for sure you're going to do the original or the more traditional design of a console first, and then you maybe introduce Xbox Cloud or Scarlet Cloud, whatever you want to call it, after that. But that's just me.
And I don't really know. Like, it's kind of crazy to think that we're at that point where for me personally, I would not want the streaming console just because, like I said, the lack of power is not there. I mean, I feel like my games are going to lag. I would not want to play a multiplayer game on a streaming console. I feel like there's just a lot of deficiencies there. Would you want to get one?
I don't know. Like, I've dabbled with Xbox streaming, like, because you can do the in-home streaming with games. If you have a Windows 10 device, you can just sort of hook it up. And like, I've done that on my One X a few times, and like, it doesn't work very well over Wi-Fi. I'm not using the best, laptop either, so like that's part of it. And that the chip's probably cheap in it, but I've done it over LAN. but I can still feel the deficiency, like you said. Like it's not as responsive, it's not as clear. But I will say it never was to the point that I was unhappy with it. Like you said, I would never play online with it. Like if I'm not going to play Halo Infinite online on streaming, even if I had the option.
But you have to also think like what potentially things you could be losing that would be on your console. Like I mean, the option to play like Blu-rays and whatnot, which is I mean not a big deal, but a lot of people will have their Xbox to play movies as well as their video games. Maybe all the other apps that come along. I mean, am I still going to be able to access my Twitch account or my YouTube and so forth?
I'd have to assume. I mean, we obviously don't know, but I think that would be nuts if you couldn't at least access those things. I mean, clearly it's going to have some sort of hardware in it to stream. You know, streaming isn't free. Like it's not it takes resources and power to do that, but it clearly doesn't take as much power as, a full-on 4K console, anything like that.
I mean, I feel like the biggest turnoff too would be what the price will be compared to the physical console.
Right, like, and that's a good question.
To be honest, like couldn't they like right now really if they wanted to, give this device out if they have the device to stream their video games, like it could be out like relatively soon already.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, the infrastructure has to be there for them to do it though, and Microsoft has been. I really think the Trojan horse here is Game Pass. I think that's what Microsoft is betting everything on, and it's like. Maybe they're just not there yet with Game Pass in terms of getting the library up, and maybe this is why they're putting all first-party titles, because whenever the next Xbox launches, which is rumored to be 2020, if they can come out and say, look, we've got this device that's $150, you get Game Pass, you've got all the Xbox One exclusives, you've got a lot of the 360 exclusives, plus you're going to keep getting the new exclusives. The only caveat is you got to stream it. But even still, at $150, $200, that's a very enticing option. And for the people like me that are like, get that streaming shit out of my house, like, you've got this. If you've got a beast of a console, I think it's a very good proposition. Like, it doesn't speak to me, but that library could be key.
It is. I mean, the Game Pass is what would grab a lot of people for this, I feel like, for sure.
Yeah.
But to also mention, I mean, it's not just, if you have the streaming console, I mean, you have to almost guarantee, for me, strong internet.
For sure.
Like, I mean, I feel like I have internet, but of course I have internet. But, like, I call it medium speed, and I feel like there's no way I could, like, really stream successfully a high-end Gears of War 4 or a multiplayer, like... or 5 multiplayer since that's coming out soon or something like that, but you would think that would cost more money too with the amount of data that you would take in from streaming the video game itself and so forth. Like, so if you really think of cost wise, like there's so many little more factors that kind of add into it too.
Sure.
If you ask me.
It's about getting that device in your hands. So I mean, I think if they were able to even do it for like $100, that would be nuts. I think
it'd be insane.
Yeah, even for $100, I would probably pick one up just to check it out. Like just to see how it works, and that could be key as well. But again, we don't know. But I think the other big question mark is this device coming out in 2020? Are we going to see the next Xbox in 2020? What do you think?
I think we can. I don't think that's too far away. That's not like an out-world possibility. I'm a little more concerned that we haven't heard too much other than this little Scarlet news that we're getting right now. So that would, to me, the next E3 are going to be showing it off. They would have to.
I think 2020 is a safe bet. That would be 3 years after the Xbox One X, and I think if you did in 2019, that'd be nuts. Because the Xbox One X would only be 2 years old, and I know 2 versus 3 doesn't sound like a crazy amount of time, but it is. Like that extra year is a lot, and I feel like we haven't quite finished out the Xbox One X's, doesn't really have that showcase game yet. And that's probably going to be like Gears 5 or Crackdown. I mean, not Crackdown. We all know how that, whatever. But it still hasn't had that marquee title yet. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. But no, I think 2020 makes sense. But I also don't think we hear about it next year. I think they're going to do something similar to the PS4 and the Xbox One of like, you're going to constantly hear about it because we live in this era of just like nothing stays quiet. Nothing stays hidden. And Microsoft sort of got out and got in front of it and said, yeah, we're making the next Xbox. So already there's, that mystic of like, oh, are they going to do another one? No, we know they are. So, but I don't think you hear about it till 2020. I think you hear about it before E3. At E3, they give all the price and the specs, and then they release it that holiday.
I mean, I needed it to come out 2020 because I can't afford it with all the games that are coming out next year anyway. I really need a little time to recover.
That would be rough if it came out that year. That'd be really rough. So, but no, the idea of a streaming device seems odd, but we're getting to that point. Like, we're getting to that point to where the infrastructure's there. EA's doing it as well. They're going to be doing streaming as well. So
I mean,
PlayStation already does it. Yeah,
with PlayStation. What is that
now? PlayStation Now. Yeah. So, but I don't think it's not crazy, but at the same time, it's a little different. But let us know what you think about Xbox Scarlet and Xbox Scarlet Cloud in the comments below. Do you like the idea? Don't like the idea? Would you buy it even if it was cheap? Let us know. Hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps us out. And we will see you next time.